Hello, I hope you are doing well. I know it's been a while. Today I kind of wanted to pop on, give a quick update, explain where I've been, what I've been doing, and if you had guessed by the title, I'm no longer an engineer. I'm now an engineering manager, or I'm a managing consultant is my official job title, and we're going to talk about it. So let's get into it. So not only did I switch job roles, so I'm no longer an engineer, I actually went ahead and switched companies. So instead of managing a 50,000 plus device fleet spread across the world for one company, I've joined a network automation firm based out of New York, and I'm working on anywhere from 12 or 14 or so engagements at a time, helping other companies automate their network infrastructures and their workflows and making their lives just easier. So the goal here is to provide my thoughts, my take on why I made the transition, and hopefully it helps if you're thinking of the same. So I found myself not wanting to be the one that necessarily had to type the code, had to perform the change. I would pull in junior engineers into changes all the time, put them in the pilot seat, have them drive, and then I would coach a lot. And I found myself doing that more and more and more. So that was kind of an indicator that, not the loss of interest, but it's just if you do something for 15 years, you kind of get bored of it. So I needed a new challenge. I needed a new direction, something that that would sustain, for my next career iteration. And I had two options. And Eddie just noticed our neighbor walking by. He's still here. Oh, I know, baby. Love you. So I needed a change. It's been 15 years since I started my engineering career, going all the way back from being a technician or an intern, being systems engineering. I did kind of a survey of all the technologies. I went through and did a stint in everything, and I reached the end of that. The goal was always to move into leadership at some point. So this felt like a good opportunity in order to make that jump and make it official. So I did. I equate being an individual contributor to a lot like playing an RPG. You're starting off at level 1, you're acquiring skill sets, be that through boot camps, through college, through, binge watching YouTube videos, and you're getting these different skills. You're equipping your armor, you're getting your weapons, you're learning Python, you're learning engineering. All along the way, you're trying to build yourself up to being the greatest thing, the greatest engineer that you possibly can be. The focus, though, is still on yourself and on the technology. Those are the two areas that you can ultimately affect. When you make the transition into leadership or management, I equate that more to being like playing an RTS. Like you're now playing StarCraft, Warcraft, or what have you. I've been playing Frostpunk. Like that was the latest little mini RTS game that I played. Absolutely great. You're moving away from how can I gain more skill sets for myself to being how can I manage this team, this company, this organization to most effectively work as a cohesive unit. And what I'm imagining and what I've seen is that there's a greater impact scale from when you go from being an IC to being a leader. And this has happened, several times in my career where, I've gotten up to the point where being the most technical person on the floor or in the room, and you can only affect so much. So you can propose what new technology to use. You can do all these things. You can place recommendations out based on your previous experience and knowledge. But at some point, a decision maker is going to come into the room and say yes or no. And so I kind of saw that and saw the capability that if I became one of those decision makers, I'd be able to affect change at a broader scale. And the impact or the positional impact would be just so much greater. Another reason why I made the transition is that I found myself, I did kind of a survey of all the different technologies, all the different roles. I've been, a senior engineer. I have been a manager before. I've been in network engineering. I did a little bit of architecture work. I have PM, like my PMP, CSM, like some project management, program management experience. So I have this survey of all this different technology. And what I found myself doing in engineering roles a lot of the times is that I would put all of my other skill sets on the back burner, and I would only concentrate on the one thing that I was doing at that one time. Making the transition over to management and managing consultant, I am using all of my skills almost every day. You have these calls where you go from a high level architectural discussion. The next call could be about a budget and building out a scope of work. The very following call could be, a client relationship call where you have to negotiate a very difficult conversation. And those can fire one right after the other. So for me, I get bored really easily if I'm doing the same thing for too long. So it's kind of perfect because it keeps changing up my work. My work just keeps changing up just based on the hour of the day, the flavor of the day, how everything is going. And it's very exciting because it's never a dull moment. And lastly, it's the career progression aspect. So in order to become a principal engineer or principal architect, it just seems like this ambiguous path from when you're a senior engineer to principal. There's just this gray area that could last anywhere from a year, 10 years. Nobody really knows. It just depends on if you're at the right moment with the right company that needs to fill that slot, or as a retention mechanism if you're getting ready to leave and they don't want you to leave, so they dangle that in front of you. Like there just seems to be this weird transitional period from becoming a senior to a principal. That's just not really well worn in a lot of organizations. Granted, there are some organizations that have a great program for that. I'm not discounting that. Now compare that to a leadership progression. That seems like a well-worn path, and I don't want to say easier to obtain because certainly is not, but it just seems more viable to be, engineering manager, senior engineering manager, director of engineering. That seems like a more reliable path. And who knows? I might get to senior manager, or I might get up to that director level opportunity and find the same challenges that I'm seeing over here, but I don't foresee that. So we're gonna try. We're gonna try it, and if that fails, we'll try something else. I don't really know what I'm doing here. And that was it. I just wanted to come on, say hello again, say I haven't gone really anywhere. I do want to start producing more videos. I am not sure how to do that, where to go with it, or anything. Not like I ever have figured that out with this channel, but it was a little disappointing because I was getting a good clip. I was starting to do engineering topics, and then I switched my whole career. So it's hard when you base a channel on like what you're doing when the thing that you're doing changes. It's like, well, should my content change? Should I do something else? I wrestled with that for far too long, and then I said, well, let me just make another video, and then I'll just go from there. I'll just start making stuff and see where it leads.